Failure is not final. It's feedback. It's not a tombstone. It's a teacher. The question isn't whether you will fail. The question is, how will you respond when you do? Today, I'm going to teach you how to turn your greatest setbacks into setups for success. Because wisdom doesn't run from failure, it redeems it.
Welcome to the Dave Martin Podcast.
Hey, today on the Dave Martin Show, we are talking about a topic that most people want to avoid. That is failure. I tell you what, if you've never failed, if you've never made a mistake, you've probably never made anything. The greatest people I know, the most successful people I know, have got a few failures under their belt. That's what we're talking about today. So make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share this with someone else. I was sitting in the lobby of the Island Hotel, Newport Beach, California, with Kobe Bryant. Kobe had set the record for the most missed shots in the history of the NBA. Think about that, the most missed shots. But yet 7 days later, he passes up Michael Jordan for the most points scored. How in the world did you do that? He said, it's real simple. I just took another shot. You can't let the fear of failure or the fear of criticism keep you from trying again. If you worry about, I missed it. What if I try again and I miss again? You let that fear in, you'll never shoot again. Well, you'll never be the best unless you take another shot. Well, what if someone criticizes me? You think about a basketball player, like a Kobe Bryant or any basketball player. They take a shot. You're at the game. They take a shot. They miss it. It's an air ball. You're like, oh, man, what a air ball, right? And but not only is that bad, we saw it. Yeah, we saw it live. But just to make sure we saw how bad it was, they're going to replay it for us on the Jumbotron. And we're going to watch on the Jumbotron. We're like, oh, man, he did miss it. And then they're going to slow it down and show it to us in slow motion over and over again, their mistake. Oh, my God, give me that ball. I'll show them how to play, right? Got a big fat white guy up in the stands telling I can outplay any of those NBA players out there. Listen, criticizing. Wait, then you're going to go home and they're going to replay it 3 more times on Sports Center. So over and over, your mistake is broadcast, your failure is broadcast. If you don't learn how to overcome failure and criticism, you're never going to be a success. Failure is one of those words that carries so much weight. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants it. We're taught when we're kids, failure is bad and something to be ashamed of, something to run from. But wisdom sees failure differently. And we need to learn how to fail forward, how to learn from that failure and move forward. Wisdom doesn't see failure at the end. Wisdom sees failure as feedback. Failure is feedback. What do I need to fix, right? What is it, Thomas Edison that said I didn't make 10,000 mistakes. I just found 10,000 ways it didn't work. Right? And he took the feedback. I hear people that say that, well, they've never failed at anything. Well, like I said, you've probably never done anything. If you've never failed, every successful person that you admire has failed, not once, but many times. And the difference is they didn't let failure define them. They didn't they let it refine them, not define them. And they turned that failure into a classroom, into a stepping stone on the path to success. Michael Jordan didn't make the high school basketball team. Well, he could have said, well, I guess I'm no good and just never played basketball again. But he didn't quit. That failure taught him to work harder, to practice more, whatever it may be. If you've ever failed or know anyone who's ever failed, maybe someone's feeling that right now, share today's podcast with them. I think it's going to give them some great wisdom and some great help. And they need it. So like, subscribe, share. Maybe go in the comments and let me know an area where you failed, but you didn't quit. And you came back. And maybe you're a serial entrepreneur. If there's any entrepreneurs, I know we have a lot of entrepreneurs that watch, you're constantly failing. You're constantly getting back up. Walt Disney, right, fired from his first newspaper job. They said he lacked creativity. I could see that. Went bankrupt more than once. right? But he learned from every setback. Today, his name is synonymous with creativity. Yet he got fired for having a lack of it. Imagination, joy, success, failure didn't define him. Wisdom did. The Bible teaches us a powerful picture of that in the life of Peter. Peter was bold, right? He was passionate. He was the disciple that swore he would never deny Jesus, not Peter. And yet one night Jesus is arrested. What happened? Peter failed. I mean, and not once. He denied him twice. Wait, no, not twice. He 3 times. He denies even knowing the very man that he promised that he would stand with. He's like, Jesus? Never heard of him. You sure that man, never heard of him. I mean, you talk about a failure. You talk about someone messing up, and yet Jesus didn't discard him. 40 days later, Jesus restores him and goes, come on, Peter, John 21, we got stuff to do, right? And then after the resurrection, Jesus asked Peter 3 times, do you love me? Do you love me? And for every failure, he gave Peter another chance. Isn't that amazing? 3 times he said, do you love me? 3 times Peter denied him. Peter went on to preach the sermon at Pentecost that launched the church, and Peter then became the rock. Peter stands for the rock, right? The church. So his greatest failure became a setup for his greatest calling. Here's the wisdom. Failure's not final. How about this? Failure is fertilizer. Failures, it stinks. It's a little messy sometimes, but if you use it right, it'll grow into something incredible. I'll never forget one of my earliest business ventures. I poured my life into, I poured my time, I poured my money, my energy into it, and it flopped. I was embarrassed. I felt like I'd wasted everything. I'd used all my money, but looking back, the lessons I learned from that in that season about finances, about leadership, definitely about resilience. What I learned from that failure has paid me back hundreds and hundreds of times over. Okay. So the failure gave me wisdom that I needed. The failure gave me the wisdom factor that I needed that caused me to succeed many times in the future. Proverbs 24, verse 16 says, for though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again, right? But the wicked stumble and calamity strikes. So the righteous, the wise will get back up. They'll fall, but they'll rise back. The righteous don't rise because they never fall, right? Even the righteous fall 7 times, but they get back up. They rise because they refuse to stay down. Evander Holyfield, I've got a book called Another Shot, okay? If you don't have that book, I got the name of it from Kobe that night. We were sitting in the lobby, and he said, I just took another shot. And I wrote a whole book about rebounding in life, coming back from setbacks. And there's a great quote on there by my friend Evander Holyfield, the boxer. He said, it's not getting knocked down that makes you lose the fight. It's not getting back up, right? We're all going to get knocked down sometimes. Just get back up. If you don't get back up, you're going to lose. But wisdom says, get back up. And that's what I've learned. Failure is a teacher if you're a willing student. Failure is fertilizer. And when something doesn't work out, don't just, oh, why me? Oh, I'm just so. No, say, you know what? It didn't work out. What could I learn from this? What could I learn? What could I do different the next time? This shift turns a loss into a lesson. Thomas Edison, I mentioned that, inventing the light bulb, right? Didn't fail, he just found a bunch of ways that didn't work. Over 1,000 ways. But he said, I've not failed. I've just found all these ways. That's perspective. And some of you are listening right now, and you're living in the shadow of failure. Maybe it was a business deal that went wrong. Maybe it was a relationship that ended. Maybe it was a dream that didn't turn out the way that you had hoped it would. And the enemy is whispered in your ear, and you've let that failure define you. You're never going to recover. But listen, I just want to tell you today, failure is fertilizer. I just want to tell you today, no matter what it is, whether it was a relationship, whether it was a marriage, whether it was a business, failure doesn't have to define you. Wisdom can take that failure and turn it into a stepping stone toward an incredible, amazing future. So this week, here's what I want you to do. I want you to do something really bold. Go back and revisit a past failure. Go back and write down what happened and write down 3 things that you learned from it. You're going to find out that you've learned a lot more from your failures than you think. Maybe you didn't realize it. And then take that failure that's been holding you back and let it go. Man, I learned this. Take what you learned. Take the wisdom factor. Let go of the rest. Don't let it just sit in your past regret. Pull the wisdom out of it. Carry it into your future. The enemy loves to use failure as a wall to stop you. But wisdom uses failure as a bridge to grow you. So the same stone that the enemy used to try to trip you up with can become the very stone that you step on to rise higher. I'll leave you with this, okay? Here's your coaching moment. Don't run from failure, redeem it, okay? Don't run from it. Don't let it bury you. Let it build you. Because failure isn't the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. It's not the opposite. Listen, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. And when you walk in wisdom, even your failures can work for your good. Oh, my goodness. Share this with someone today. Maybe someone that's gone through a failure. Maybe someone that's a little discouraged right now. I promise you, I think it'll help them. And maybe get them a copy of Another Shot. It's available on our website. It's a book that really goes in depth into coming back and rebounding from the setbacks of life. Don't let your setback be a step back. Let it be part of a comeback, the greatest comeback of all. Remember, wisdom wins every time. We'll see you next time on The Dave Martin Show.